Hello, hello! Hope you have been keeping well. My name is Bianca and welcome to the first episode of, I don't know what I'm gonna call this. We'll just keep it at Bianca's Weeklies for now. This week I worked on my first ever fleece jacket, the Mikal fleece jacket by Petite Stitchery. This is just a make that I made for being cozy around the house, just to use on the school run, just to keep generally comfortable and warm. It has lots of pockets in, just to put your phone in, or little bits and pieces like your keys when you have to run to the school. And it has two waist pockets. It has a chest pocket as well that has two openings, one with a snap and another one with a zip. Now, I didn't have enough light blue colored snaps in my stash, and I didn't want to buy any more just because I needed two more snaps. So I decided to mix and match with the orange color. I didn't want to put the orange on the outside because I felt it would take away, it would be too much distraction with all the colors. So I kept the light blue on the outside, but I put the orange mix matched on the inside. I'm really pleased with it. It did come out a bit big. I just went with my bust measurement, so I ended up making a size S, I think it was. But I will size down for the next one because it's just too roomy. I like oversized, but not this oversized, so I will be sizing down for the next one. Other sewing that has been happening in the room this week is my Roma Necessaire bag. I have started designing bags a few months ago, and my first one just finished its testing roundup on Saturday. So I thought I would show you what those bags look like. So this was one of the first versions I made. It has one panel that is quilted squares, and the other panel is just one layer of fabric, but it has been quilted as well. This version I made both front and back panels in the quilted squares, and I just used a different quilting design, so to say. This one has just lines up and down, and this one I created a chevron design. There's an option to add webbing handles or create your own, and on the insides there is a patch pocket and a side pocket as well, so one on each panel. For this one I decided to put in a mesh panel, which as the top raw edge is covered with a binding, and for this version there is just a fabric pocket which is let's say lined, and it's got a binding on the top of that as well. So because the test finished on Saturday, I'm just busy going through all of the feedback, updating my instructions. The pattern pieces itself, that was all good. It's just now making sure that what I have written in the instructions you can actually understand to construct this bag. So I just need to make a few tweaks to that one. In the background I have been working on another design, which in reality was the first design that I started working on, but I set it aside to work on the quilted squares bag, which is the Roma Necessaire. So the first one I worked on was actually this one, which I have named the Palma pouch. I'm still busy working on this one, accompanying the instructions as I go, just to make sure that everything I did right the first time round still works, is still functional, and helps me get to the end result. I did make a few changes though from the first version that I made. So this is initially what I designed. I thought to put these as handles, and if you wanted you could carry it like this as well, but as you can see I just had a clip falling out there. So I have had to make some changes to the inside, but let me show you what the initial design was. There are two pockets on the inside which are quite large, and when you close them there's still another 3 spaces for you to store your goodies in. There is an internal zip pocket as well on the side, and one thing that I have removed is this elastic band. I had originally intended for these so that you could store your scissors, your tweezers, your seam ripper, but when I was transporting it they kept on falling out, so I decided that is not a good idea to include, so that is why I removed that for the second version. I do want to add a pocket onto here, but I kind of forgot in the design process and it slipped my mind, so I'm just going to go without it for now, but I'm going to make up another version to include that pocket so that I can include it in the instructions as well. For this one what I'm changing is, what you can clearly see here is a different fabric panel, which is to add handles. So it's got these little hooks on each side of the bag, and I'm going to be using swivel clips to attach to some fabric handles, or I'm going to try with webbing as well to see how that goes, and that you can attach to your bag or remove it however you see fit for the use of your bag. You can add these handles, not add the handles, again it's completely up to you, but this is where I am in the design process for this one. If you would be interested in testing this bag for me, hopefully in a few weeks, I'm hoping not more than a month, hopefully I will send out a tester call for that, so keep an eye on my Instagram. So that's all the sewing that I did this week. Now for the knitting. I just love knitting as well, and I take my knitting with me everywhere. Whether I'm downstairs with my kids on the sofa, whether it's car rides, I rather take my knitting with me than my handbag, which I don't even use a handbag anymore. So what am I working on for knitting? Currently, I am knitting my second pair of socks. After my first ones that didn't go too well, I have an excuse, they were my first socks anyway, but the second ones I think are working up really well. I had to buy though new knitting needles because the ones that I had for this small size, which is a 2mm needle, my yarn was getting caught from the needle on the slipping onto the cable, and I felt it was not only destroying the yarn, but it was delaying the process as well. So I got new needles for this one. They have been working up really well in these Drops Fable yarn that I got from Wool Warehouse. This is the Sunset colorway, and I'm using cornflower blue for the cuffs. I'm going to use the same color, cornflower, for the heels as well as the toes. This is roughly a week and a half's work, so they have been knitting up quite quickly. That's about 3 inches there. I'm gonna knit another 3.5 inches for the leg before I start on the heel flap, so that's gonna take me some time to get through as well. On the other hand, love knitting sweaters, which is my main go-to knitting project. This is one of the latest sweaters I finished in collaboration with Wool Warehouse. They sent me out their latest release at the time, which was the Merino DK Superwash in the Bluebell colorway, and I decided to add some beads on it just to give it that extra bit of sparkle, and I added a total of 1,438 beads. Yes, I did count all of them, and I just think it worked out really well. I started by using the Breton sweater pattern from Paintbox Yarns, but their instructions was just confusing me, so I went on my own and kind of hacked the sleeves. Obviously, I did not add the stripes, but I added the beads in place. Since this project is finished, I asked Wool Warehouse if they would like to collaborate on another project, and they happily agreed, and they sent me out all of these gorgeous colors. So I asked if I could experiment with their new release, which is the Yarnsmith Kid Mohair Silk, and I want to add 1 strand of this together with 1 strand of their Merino DK Superwash, which is the same one as what I'm wearing. They sent me out the colors Sugar Plum, Bright Red, Scarlet. This one's Bubblegum. I'm not sure what this one's called. It's one of their pinks, maybe Old Pink or Dusky Pink, something like that. And also Cream. The plan for this yarn is to knit a sweater in which Sugar Plum is the main color, and I want to add horizontal stripes in the pink, red, and cream, and kind of create a tartan print. So those will be horizontally, and vertically I also want to crochet in these contrast colors some stripes. I've never crocheted stripes onto a jumper, so that's going to be something exciting as well, something new for me to learn, and I just can't wait to actually dive into this project just because of the colors. I'm not sure when I'm going to start this, because my MO is I don't start another project without finishing the previous one. So because I'm busy with the socks, I'm not sure if I'm going to start this week or not, but I'm kind of antsy. I do really want to get my hands into this one, so check back next week to see if I have started this or not. In the meantime, if you can't wait for me to check in next week, On Sunday, I do send out a newsletter of what I've been getting up to, where you can actually see photos, just kind of behind the scenes, finished products as well, because here I'm just showing it up to you, but you can actually see them fitted to me in my newsletter, which you can subscribe to on my website, which is www.beesilva.co.uk. Other than that, please let me know how the sound in this video is. Please drop a comment down below. And that's it for now. Check back next week. And that's bye for now.